Hello, this is KJ with KJ Spiritual Astrology, here with her reading for the Pisces. This is really a significant week. This really is a significant week. Saturn is leaving Pisces this week. So you figure collective karma is clearing. Personal karma is clearing. I mean, if we are to be helpful to the public, to the world, we get over our unempowered empathy, we get over our poor boundaries, we get over where we went wrong, being too nice to people that don't really they don't mutually care, they don't mutually care. They expected you to cycle back around and be begging and chasing, and we don't always do that, I mean, we might put a post out for them, for entertainment, or we might get attention, publicly to send a message, even a little bit encouraging. I don't know, just because you realize there's people involved, but why does everything have to be about monetary value? You know what I mean? Like, realistically, we are not rich. If we have any medical problems, it's going to take everything to pay for those. Any medical problems you may come into, it's going to take a lot out of you to pay the big pharma medical system. If you find alternative ways, people are very discouraging. People are saying that you are doomed if you don't turn to big pharma to solve all your problems, and mainstream doctors, you know what I mean? So then you look at how, brick and mortar jobs take up so much of your time, and, you'll need to find a way to make things work, you know what I mean? Like, for me, even making a medical appointment seemed like a big deal. Trying to figure out how to go to the dentist, that's a big deal. Our biggest asset really is ourselves. We have to be authentic with our own path, with what it is we're learning, So we do separate ourselves from other people, because we have our own lessons to learn. So do they, so you look at what it is you're supposed to learn, and each and every one of us is different. We all have our own cycles, and, we all have our own timing. We all have our own timing, we're not all the same. We don't need to be busy all the time. So perhaps if you've taken time out, you know, for your birthday season, you know, let's be present. Let's let go of being busy all the time. We do need a little bit of a break this month, you know. We'll have our highs and lows in life, you know. Sometimes you got to take a day off, a time period. You know, I mean, I admit I like the workaholic behavior. I do, but we can't do it all the time. You know, we're not going to be at our best if we do it all the time. Okay, so there's stuff we got to do, you know, for ourselves, you know, and do we really take care of everything if we're just working all the time, working? So ultimately, there's things we have to acknowledge. There's things we need to acknowledge. There's things we need to integrate. You know, we weren't totally wrong, you know, in the past. But, you know, the whole belief system, you know, it had flaws. It had flaws. So you integrate what worked. You know, you acknowledge there's things that, you know, that worked, you know, that were necessary at that time. Sometimes we need to be receiving. Don't feel like you're not worthy. You need to feel worthy. Feeling worthy has its place. We need to be able to receive. We can't just give, put our energy out. I mean, for crying out loud, we are going to be having our little birthday season, so do something. Go get some fruit. Do something, you know, for yourself. You know, eat healthy, eat well. You know, plan ahead. You know what I mean? Plan ahead, you know, towards, you know, what it is you need to get through the month, you know, to get through the next couple of months, you know. You know, we are part of receiving, you know, taking that walk. That's being in a state of receiving, because you're going to have insights when you're taking a walk. You're going to benefit from that time, you know. You know, we want to be able to receive, you know, that's part of having friendships, relationships. We want to be able to receive. We can't just give. We can't have out of balance situations where we give and we don't receive. You know, you think about how much energy you put out into the outside world. I mean, assuming people have jobs and they have things to do, we put energy outwardly. You know, we do work. We do, we do have money-making activities. We have activities that just keep us going. Okay, so we're looking at how wisdom and answers can come from within. This is true, you know. Much is required of some people. Other people, maybe they're more takers. Maybe they use people. Maybe they have, you know, something out of balance, you know, in their own life, and they're more needy, and, you know, they just want for them. They, you know, maybe they didn't intend to do much for you or have a normal friendship with you. You know, they could have just wanted to use you. You know, people show you who they are, you know. Sure, people have room to grow and improve. You know, people can set out with bad intentions and then change them a little bit, choose to be a little nicer, you know. But life can be like not always balanced. So we have self-love. I'd hate for my video to get cut off again. You have to love yourself. Trust the process. Surrender. I mean, you know what you need. You know, there's something you want. It's okay to want things, you know what I mean? Like if you're more in a healing state, you're trying to get grounded, you're trying to heal, you're surrendering to, you know, the spiritual, you know, you have a spiritual year coming up, like you already were in that, and now you're going into new territory, because we have Neptune and Saturn moving into the sign of Aries. So that's pioneer energy. So, you know, you're surrendering to what's coming, you know, what's ahead. You know, you realize you can't just go at max, you know, at the maximum speed all the time. You know, sometimes you gotta slow down. Sometimes you gotta get grounded. You have to surrender. You know, you have to surrender to the new. Trust the process. We have to trust the process. We have to be willing to receive. You know, it's a process. Okay, Pisces, I'm going to end this video. I don't want the video to be interrupted because I'm filming late. But yeah, make sure you receive. Make sure you receive. You know, go and take a walk. That's being able to receive. Taking a walk is receiving better health. You know, we need to be able to receive something. You know, we got to move on from the old, move into the new. Do something new this month. Okay? That's my message for Pisces. Thanks for watching.